Future viewers, welcome back. I figured that every now and then I would show off one of the Herzog Zwei maps. And this one, well, as you can see just from the minimap, it is Lava Land. This one also has obstacles, but unlike the canyons, infantry cannot really scale these things. Don't worry, I'll give you a better view of the overall map in just a second. Well, there it is. Unlike the last map, both sides start with their nearby minor bases captured already, which certainly shortens things, but it also means that you can't do anything really bold like go for the middle maps before all of your close ones are taken. It does speed things up, though. Well, I mentioned that lava is impassable. That's actually technically not true. It just deals a whole bunch of damage and units will try to move through it even though it will probably kill them. Technically, a tank can make it across a narrow lava river, but it will have almost no health afterwards, so just don't do that. Well, fortunately for me, the AI was pretty slow to capture the base that it targeted. Unfortunately, well, things got a little messy there, but it's okay. We've seen from the previous map that I can handle this sort of thing. Also, I'm a lot closer to that base than the AI is, so no real problems. Now, there is an alternative route, which is instead of going for the three bases that are kind of neutral in the middle, you could go for a gutsy capture of one of the enemy bases right at the start. It's a bit of a gap, but it's not insurmountable. But that's a risky thing. That seems like a last resort sort of thing. And now that I don't have to worry as much about the AI moving in to capture the bases to the left, because restocking infantry in your own base is really quick and easy, it's not that difficult to get the last one. By the way, if you ever liked stories about cheating computers, Herzog Zwei has a couple of things. You may have noticed that it will, if it is going after you and you're both in land form and you switch to jet, it will switch to jet itself on the exact same frame as you. That's kind of a running theme in competitive games of this era. Opponents that read your inputs. It's the best thing. But this is also not insurmountable. At least I'd like to think I just proved that by capturing all of the neutral bases on this very nice bit of land here. And the next step is a little more complicated. I have to push the AI off of the base just to our left if I'm going to take that and get an avenue to their main base and win the game. And the best way to do that is with SAMs. The first thing to do, though, is to guard the place around here, because if I lose this ground, that's going to be trouble. And while I'm doing this, I'd like to show you a little thing that I learned between the last battle and this one. I mentioned to you that repair trucks are the worst. They cause all of the problems. However, they are kind of something that I can't just ignore, and that's because the AI likes to just fly right back in right after getting shot down, and will sometimes cause the SAMs to lose all their ammo. Replenishing that manually is a big old pain. Oh, I just wasted a whole bunch of money with that order, but whatever. Once you have these 3 bases plus your starting bases, you basically cannot run out of money. So, the formation I'm about to show you, right there. That is about... Okay, so it's not a complete victory because that was an unfortunate tank drop. But it's okay. Those are about as close together as you can put those vehicles and still be allowed to drop them, by the way. I don't know why the repair vehicle is slated to take as much space as it does, but there is a way to take advantage of it, which I did right there. The supply truck basically cannot move from where it's sitting right now. Getting rid of the free defenses before I start moving in. Yeah, with a formation like that, the SAMs will just fire away and the repair truck will just sort of turn around and resupply anything that needs it. And since it can't push its way out of there, it can't run over a lava stream or anything. So I plan to use that formation quite a bit later. Well, pushing the AI off a base once again involves SAMs. I figure I might as well just make new ones instead of transferring the ones that are back there. You're allowed to have 50 units at once. Well, I tried sending infantry just in case the AI got a little careless, which it did. However, the AI also knows that retaking your own base with infantry is quick and easy, so this plan didn't work out quite as well as I hoped. And that's why SAMs are so important for taking bases like this. It's kind of a long process, and a couple of things can go wrong, which is why I'm keeping a close eye on the SAM. But it's easier once there's more than one. And it's important to have them stay in place for what I hope are obvious reasons. But once I have them in the right numbers, I recommend at least 2, 3 is better. They can start hitting the AI so hard that it doesn't matter that they get healing from the base. They will just die. And then you can start taking the base away from them. And the AI, by the way, has been kinda trying to do a sneaky thing. I mostly spotted this because I took a quick glance at the mini-map. And that's that. Ooh, yes, well, aside from reading your input, as I mentioned before, the AI, not only their fighter, but also their units hit a bit harder than yours do. But the ability for you to do things like this, which is to say, build up units and then slowly walk them forward to claim territory, more than makes up for it. Yeah, I wanted to move stuff around more, but if I ran out of energy while carrying something, that would be really bad. Not only do you blow up, but anything you're carrying blows up. I'm kind of surprised I was able to put the supply truck there, by the way. And as you just saw, once the SAMs are in a position like that, the AI kind of doesn't know what to do. Because when they're right over a base and they're damaged, the AI plane says, "Oh, I'm taking hits, I better go back to heal." So it stays on top of the base and just gets shot down by a bunch of missiles because the base doesn't heal that much. It's very important if you're going to do something like this, though, that you keep the SAM supplied, because those 10 missiles that they carry will go away pretty fast if the AI keeps coming back over and over. And that's one of the reasons why having... Oh geez, that repair truck is just gonna run over the lava, isn't it? Anyway, that's why the 4 SAM formation is much better than the 3 SAM one. The 4 SAM one doesn't give the supply truck a way to escape, and it's less confused about what to do. It's weird because most of the other pathfinding isn't this bad. Don't get me wrong, it has some problems. But now that I have the base captured and I'm kind of established, the next step is to walk these SAMs forward. This, if you're on the player 2 side, is a very bad base to lose, because there aren't any magma rivers between here and the main base. You can just have the vehicle drive all the way over. By the way, I mentioned that having close bases, the minor ones, was an advantage, but that's only the case if you don't start with all of the close ones captured. Because if they do begin the game captured, like on this map, that just means that if that closer base is captured, the enemy has an easier time moving units to your base so that you're kind of kicked off it and can't defend it anymore. Well, now that I have the SAMs that I need, it's time to build some tanks. They're useful for keeping the SAMs protected, and also I'm going to use them for other stuff soon. And also, because these extra bases give me so much money, I'm going to build a couple of GRM cannons. Aside from having more missiles, they can defend themselves a little bit, so unlike a group of SAMs, they won't all die to a motorcycle or whatever. As you saw, the AI does like to bring tanks sometimes. Oh, that's very discourteous of that truck. It moved away immediately. Oh well, I can fix that. By the way, if you ever run low on energy and you're not sure if you can walk back, or walk, I gave it away. If you're not sure you can fly all the way back to the base, transform into land mode and walk. You lose less energy for the same distance, and you can refuel just by walking into the center of the base. You don't have to be over it to get your energy back. Well, going to raid the defenses of the main base, and then send out the tanks. Fortunately, the enemy is kind of choked for funds and has been wasting quite a few units, so it can't really replace the tanks that I destroyed very easily. So, a few changes in orders, and some SAMs to, well, that wasn't the best, but I believe I did drop the tank in time. Anyway, some SAMs to help protect the tanks from interference. As you can see, that was one kaboom. And now the base is kinda not in the best shape. Nonetheless, that mistake with energy kinda cost me. Yeah, because the enemy has started placing units, and although it's going to have some trouble hitting the tanks manually, it doesn't die instantly. If I wanted that, I should have moved the SAMs further, but I guess I got a little bit too excited. No big deal though, it worked out. And this was the sort of thing that I wanted to accomplish in the last map, but didn't quite have the execution for it yet. Well, there it is. Because I learned a couple of things, and also because of different map design, this one didn't take as long. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.